Today we are gonna be reviewing a pet grooming blower that was sent to us by the company. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name of the blower. I'm not sure if it's AiiYme or AiiYme or AiiYme. I will put the name here, and I will also put in the description down below the link to the store on Amazon so you could purchase the blower if you want to. This pet blower was sent to us for a review, but this video is not a sponsor, but we did get the blower for free. I just want to mention that before we start our video. So here we have our pet hair dryer, and let's open it to see what is inside. Here's are the instructions, and here is what is included. Here's our first attachment. This will probably be the one we will use the most. This type of attachment is really good to get deep into the second layer of hair. And this other one is also one that we will use a lot. This one is really good for fast drying. Our hose. And here we have our blower. Let's take it out of the box so we could check it out. So here is everything that came included with the blower. The nozzles, they're plastic. The front part and the back part, they're plastic, also the handle. But the middle part, I'm not quite sure if it's plastic or metal. I think it's metal. It feels really cold to the touch and it feels a lot of weight on it. So I'm gonna say it's metal, but don't quote me on that. Something that I really like is the have on and off for heat. This one is one that when we are doing Venus and Apollo, a lot of times we like to keep it off. Venus and Apollo, they are Malamutes, they get hot really easily. So a lot of time I like to keep it off. The heating, especially if we're doing the blower during the summertime, I always keep it off, and not all blowers have that option. Our super expensive canine blower is only hot, and a lot of times they hate it and we have to do really small sections. So this is awesome, this is great. You will want a blower they have an on and off switch for the heat, especially during the summer. I also love that you could adjust the speed. I haven't turned it on, so I don't know how good this part is, but I love the idea of that we could adjust the speed of the blower, and of course the on and off power button. So I connected it, so let's turn it on to see the power. For the testing part of this video, of course we need to groom the dogs. So first step is to get them really wet, because they're Malamute, they have an undercoat. You need to make sure you wet not the top part but also the undercoat. The second part, of course, is soap. For that we use the foam blaster, and they sell these for cars, but we use it for Venus and Apollo, and it's great to get really in there and get them really soapy, and they love it. They don't get scared of it, and it's a time saver. Step 3 is to rinse all the soapy out. They were not super dirty, so we only did one layer of soap, But if they are muddy, we may do soap 2 times. Be very careful when you're doing their face that you don't wet their ears. You don't want to get them scared or get them an ear infection. Step 4, with a towel, take the excess of water before you use the blower. Venus, are you ready for blower time? Are you ready for blower time? Step 5 is the blower to really get them real dry. The towel, we only use it to get the excess of water so they are not dripping. But what we use to get them fully dry is the blower. They have a lot of hair, and with the towel alone is not enough. We really want to get in there and get as much water as we can. There's areas that are thicker than others, like the back and the base of the tail. Those areas you have to pass the blower a few times so you make sure they are really dry. If they stay a little wet or damp, they could get very smelly, and they get that wet dog smell, a little musky, and it's not pretty. We cover their ears when we are drying their base of the ears, the head, and the face. We don't want them to get scared of the blower. We want to do it a positive and a happy experience. So we always make sure to close their ears so they are happy and they don't get scared. This part here of the base of the tail is very important. Like, they bend the tail up. If you don't dry it super well, it will get super stinky, very musky, and you will have to redo everything again and shower them again. Believe me, it had happened to us in the past. Approximately we take between 45 minutes, could be less, drying each dog. But there are certain areas that we take more time than others, like I mentioned. The base of the tail being the main one that we make sure it gets dry, because that one gets smelly. You will notice when they start getting drier as hair start flying. When you start seeing a bunch of balls of hair flying, they're getting dry. Sometimes they look like they're dry, and when you touch them, they still humid. So you want to make sure you redo every area a few times just to make sure everything is dry, nothing is still wet, nothing is humid. So we will take 35 minutes to 45 minutes more or less per dog. When they're almost dry, we change the attachment to this one. This one get more inside the undercoat to make sure they're really dry, and you will see still water coming out, so they look dry but they're not, and that's the perfect nozzle to get the undercoat. Venus loved the blower, like you can see here. She loved getting groomed. She thinks she's in a spa, she fall asleep, she thinks it's a massage. And it's perfect for us like that. She gets super clean and we don't have to battle her. We love how much she loves to get groomed. You can see she pretty much is completely dry with how much hair start to fly out. All those balls of hair that they start flying out is when she's completely dry. Now that Venus is done, we have to do all over again with Apollo. Apollo's hair is naturally a lot shorter than Venus, so he takes less time than her on getting dry. Also, his hair is a little less woolly. He is also more waterproof and his time is a lot less. I will say we take 25 minutes with him. And he also like to get groomed. Venus is more chill. She thinks she's in a spa, but he also loves to get groomed and he's very well behaved. And now we have to do everything again with Shrek. Obviously he's a jerky, he's tiny. We take less than 15 minutes between showering and drying him. Shrek does get cold, so for him we do use the heater setting. For Venus and Apollo we had it completely turned it off, but for Shrek we had the heater on. We also use the blower for other stuff, like in this case we are using it to dry the boat. After we go for a ride we clean the salt out, and the boat have a lot of little crevices where using a cloth is almost impossible, and my husband he loved to use the blower for that. A few months ago we reviewed a similar blower, and I wanted to show you more or less the attachment because they do look kind of similar but they're different. This one is the new one, the one that we're reviewing now, and this one is from the one that we reviewed in the past. As you can see, this one is a lot smaller, this one is a lot bigger. It feels like a better plastic. The plastic, it doesn't feel flimsy at all. It actually looks very durable versus this one. If you could see here, it feels so flimsy versus this one. I cannot move the little teeth, and in this one I'm pretty sure it will break going through Venus's hair because she's very woolly and this wool don't come through. And this one is from the one that we are reviewing now. This one is from the one that we reviewed in the past. These two, they are very similar. The only difference is the plastic. This one is a little more sturdier, but overall they look pretty similar. Another difference is the mouth that you connect to the blower. This one have ridges, this one you just click it in, it doesn't have anything to hold it in place. This one is from the blower that we're reviewing right now, and this one is from the previous. Exactly, they look very similar. They're the same size, the mouth, the nozzle part is the same size. And again, they look very similar, but this one is a little better plastic. You could feel it's a little thicker. I don't know if you could see. It's a little bit thicker than this one. And again, the mouth where you will connect it to the blower part, it does have ridges. This one doesn't. I'm missing this nozzle. I guess I left it downstairs, but pretty much they're gonna be very similar. Now that I have used the blower with my 3 dogs, Venus, Apollo, and Shrek, and I use it in different ways. For Venus and Apollo, like I mentioned in the beginning, I use it without the heater, especially the heater is hot and they get hot really easily. I love that I have the chance to choose if I want it hot or if I want it cool. And for Venus and Apollo, I used it in the cool setting. I left it off. But for Shrek, he gets cold very easily. He's a Yorkie. I put it on the heating, and for him, he loves that. I was holding Shrek sometimes when my husband was doing the blower, and it didn't got super hot. It's not something that I will be concerned that it will burn my dog or it will burn myself. I have tested in the past other blowers that they get really hot, and they also don't have the feature where you could turn off. Our other blower, the Canine, that one is only hot, and that's one of the things that we hate the most, is that we cannot choose if we want it with heater or without it. I do have one complaint, and I hope the company have this in consideration when they do the next model, and it is how long the cable is. I wish it was a little longer, because the place where we dry the dogs is not near an outlet, so we have to use an extension cord. But we do have extension cords around the house, so we kind of fix that. I hope they, in the future, when they do a new blower, they put a longer cable. That will be perfect. I will love it even more. Venus, say bye-bye. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.